Hello, welcome to Revelator Alpha live stream. Yeah, I'm actually in the freezing man cave here, bearing out the cold, just for you guys to bring you a kind of a Harley Davidson world, a Sport Glide world update live stream. Anyway, I know it's a bit early in the evening here, but I thought, well, catch guys over there and also over there in time differences and things like that. Anyway, so it's a bit of an impromptu one. I know. I wanted to bring a couple of bit of information, um, but anyway, so just one second here. Right. Now, if you've got any questions, if you joined in late, just ask your questions in the chat and I'll get to you. And let me just do that now. Questions. And there we go. So I've got a few bits of information here about Harley information resources for you. And then got a few email questions that have come in as well. I'm going to kind of talk about that really. Let me just turn the volume down here. And also a few Sport Glide and Softail questions as well. I got some modifications versus bike values. I want to touch on that based upon the video which I put out the other day, and also want to discuss a little bit about Harley Davidson history and heritage. Does anybody care anymore about that kind of thing? And then basic Q&A. So I won't give any channel updates now, but suffice to say, it's all going quite well actually. So engagement is good. Subs are still increasing. People are still engaging with the content, which is really good, and lots of information, advice coming through on the comments as well, or suggestions, I should say. So that's really good, and keep that coming. Okay, so I can see that's all working out there. Let me just check. Yep, that's all working there. I'm using the new software here as well. I've actually got. I've been having problems with the internet connection here in the man cave, where I do my sort of workshop stuff and my recording. These are on this background or a black background there, and you'll see that as the videos come out in the new year as well. But I've actually got a wired connection now, so I've actually gone out and bought a wired connection, so it's going straight into the router, so I should have no problems now at all. Right, so that all seems to be working well. Okay, so first of all then, I wanted to discuss some sources of information for you that you might want to be interested in. Now, I've always been a great believer in trying to get as much information about your bike as possible, whether you're actually going to work on it or not. So I'm a great believer in that. If you watch one of my earlier videos for when I started putting out content about the Harley, one of the first ones was about getting information and also getting onto the Harley Davidson Surface information portal. So if you go back to that, that would be around about July, August time I put that video out. So if you go back into the archive there, you'll find it. You can log on essentially to the service information portal as an independent, and then you can access all the owners' manuals, whatever. Now, if you pay us, and you'll access the parts catalog, I should say as well. So if you wanna, you can print an individual page, but you can't download it. It's all part of the Harley official portal. Right. So if you subscribe to them, now I can't remember what the exact fees are. I think it's something like. Actually, I can look at this now. Actually, let me just have a quick look here. I think it's something in the region of $70 a year, US dollars a year. Let me just check. That's that. Here we go. Um, Tech article. Let's go to subscriptions. Right. So for a single VIN number on the information portal, service information portal here from Harley Davidson, I say check that first video, and you'll get all the info on this. But for a single VIN number for a single day, just one day use is $20. For a year for a single VIN number, it's $78 US. For a single VIN number, it's for $42 for 30 days, and for a week it's $26.40. Yeah, $26.40. So actually, on the grand scheme of things, not so bad. The only reason I'm bringing you those prices there was I actually went into a Harley dealership today to see if I get an actual paper copy of the service manual. I've got online manuals, which I got from some sources back in the summer. I've got another one today, but I just wanted to make sure that I had all the information. On one of my digital manuals, it seems as if a lot of diagrams are missing. The second one seems to be more in line with what the information portal is giving you. But I also wanted to get the official Harley Davidson one. Now, this is because Haynes manuals and Climber manuals still haven't produced anything for Harley Davidson Softails from 2018 onwards. They've obviously got the Softail manuals for the old Softails, but not the new Softails on the new chassis, of course. So that's it. So one into there, and I think it's in the region of, now it's in the region about £150 from Harley Davidson, with a bit of discount. I think it's about £120 or something like that. The parts catalogue from there is in the region of about £80, something like that. So it's you know, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to just fork out straight away. You know, when you get an online, a digital one that isn't the official one, but it's, you know, a copy basically, and that's in the region of about £12–15. And I just got another one today, an updated one. So basically, I've got a 2019 and I've got a 2018. For the Sport Glide, which is my primary concern, they're exactly the same. There hasn't actually been any differences from the 2018-19 and now into the 2020. There isn't any, well, not any major differences, let's put it that way. Certainly we're within those as well. If you are watching this, or you're actually in the comments afterwards, let me know how the sound is. Let me know what the picture quality is like. Let me know if you're getting any stop starting or anything like that. Just so you know, I can work this out for future reference as well. So any feedback on the quality of this live stream would be much appreciated as well. Right, so anyway, so you can go to any Harley dealer and you can actually purchase the official Harley Davidson manuals, but they are quite expensive. Now, it depends where you are in the world. Obviously, they might be exceptionally expensive, or they might be relatively reasonable. I suppose it really depends how much work you're going to be doing on your bike. If you really want access to that information, if you want to spend that extra money. Now, for me, I was a little bit loath to do it because I've got the digital manuals, and I was just wondering, well, actually, can I print off a lot of this information and then have my own file? I still may go and buy the official manuals, but that's something else to consider. So the service information portal from Harley Davidson is a great resource. If you subscribe to it, it'll actually be cheaper than actually buying a brand new manual, full service manual from Harley Davidson. But you've also got all the other resources there as well. The other thing to consider is that if you want all the parts information, parts catalogue information, again, you can get that on the service information portal. But there is another portal which a lot of Harley Davidson dealers use, and that's in association with Snap-on Tools. Snap-on Tools, they actually, for each manufacturer, they provide a full comprehensive parts list, and it's a portal. Okay, so if you are a dealer or if you are an independent, you can actually go into the Snap-on website, And if you go Snap-on EPC Harley Davidson, Google those 3 sets of words, you'll actually go to the Snap-on site, and then you can register for there, or get a free trial from them. Then it's basically a full parts catalogue, full diagrams, official diagrams of every part. Now what happens is that some of those parts numbers may be superseded. Hey, Metal in both legs, you're over here again. Hello, mate. How are you? Yeah. So you can go to there and get the full part numbers. Now, even if the part numbers are replaced by newer part numbers, as soon as that part number is put into the official Harley ordering website, then it comes out with a new part number for them. This is just if you want this extra information, extra part numbers, you want to look at diagrams for your particular bike, whatever. So that's another way to do it. I believe it's only open for independent mechanics and also for dealerships. I don't think that's available for, you know, rider owners such as myself. Anyway, so that's something you can do. The service information portal from Harley Davidson, or the Snap-on EPC portal is another good source of information as well. Right, that's the other things. Now, obviously, there are lots of other resources as well where you can get information. I'm still waiting on Haynes and Clymer to actually come out with their Softail manuals. There is a rumour, I heard a rumour this afternoon after I actually popped down to the Harley Davidson dealership, there is one coming out next year. But I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. And I think it's from Clymer. I think they've got one in the works. Christoph Gilbert, hello, how are you? But anyway, so those are some sources of information. Obviously, you can still go onto eBay and places like that for digital downloads, where a few guys have actually got some information together. They are quite good. You've got to be careful. Some are not fully working, if you like. Others are. Some from the United States, a couple from the United States have been a bit not full information. There's one from Lithuania. Actually, I downloaded from him today. He's actually quite good as well. So, you know, that's information for you. Okay, right, Sport Glide and Softail questions. If you've got any, feel free to ask. Quite a few questions still coming through on emails and comments, so that's great. Keep those coming, and I'll just sort of research individual ones, and then also I'll just make videos about it as well. Lots of people have been asking me about, not only in comment section but across social media and also on emails, about service items on the bike, on the Softails in general, but also on the Sport Glide in particular. A lot of the service items are actually available for you to read and to digest in the owner's manual, and they're quite good. One of the things that the service manual will enable you to do is actually get into the fine detail, and it will enable you to work out certain procedures which might help you out if you're doing minor service items like changing oil or checking oil levels and all that kind of stuff. One of the latest questions was, can I do a particular video on checking, not changing the engine oil, but checking the engine oil? And I actually recorded that yesterday, so that'll be coming out soon as well. But there are particular things with checking oil on Harleys in particular that even technicians have got wrong in the past, especially with the M8 engines. There's a difference between what the owner's manual says, what the service manual says, and what was sort of standard practice, common practice as well. So watch out for that video, that's coming out. Now, I was going to do another video. I don't know if you've got this on here. Let me just see. There, you should be able to pick that up there. I was going to do another video on the transmission oil levels, which is going to do all really easy. Now I've got my set of socket Allen keys up there, all fantastic, but I've only got a metric set. And I thought, you know what, that would actually work, that'd be no problem. But no, it didn't. So I've had to go out and get an imperial set. And I think for the transmission dipstick filler, you're going to need a 7/6. I think it's a 7/16. Let me just check. I wish I wore my glasses. Yeah, it's a 7/16 you're going to need for the cap there. I've got to say the engine dipstick is fine. There's no dramas there. The transmission dipstick is a pain to get to, especially if you've got the Sport Glide, and especially if you've got the external preload adjuster for the rear suspension. Let me just get back to the chat there. So basically, you have to take the right side electrical cover off. You have to take the cover plate off just below the preload adjuster, and then you can just about get a wrench in there to take that out. So I'm going to be doing a video about that next week as well. Now, a couple of other questions came in about clutch adjustment. So I've got a couple of videos coming out about clutch coming out soon, and there'll be adjustments coming out as well. I've also got clutch adjustment settings for different types of riding, so watch out for that. So I recorded one today actually about urban riding, riding your Harleys. Are Harleys suitable for riding in cities with dense traffic, and also how that affects the clutch? Because if you've ridden extensively for a long time in cities, you'll know that clutches tend to feel quite spongy. They can get quite I wouldn't say you're burning out the clutch, but it does start to feel as if you're overworking the clutch a little bit. You can make an adjustment on the clutch, and then that will make that process a little bit better. If I relate this to the off-road riding world, basically off-road riding world, you would always use the clutch a little bit and feather the clutch. It's called feathering the clutch. You're always constantly in and out of the clutch. That you're just, using engine power, not engine power. That kind of similar process you tend to use a lot if you're urban riding as well in certain traffic. So anyway. That's it. Mark, hello, good evening. Hi, managed a short ride on the low rider today. Bit cold, thanks. Do you know what? I was out in that cold today. It was surprising me how cold it was. And then again, it's my own fault because I didn't really wrap up warm. I thought, yeah, just a quick ride here and there, as I do on every day. But today it's been bitterly cold, and I need a heater for in here as well because it's biting in here as well. That's why I've got the coat on. Oh, by the way, look at this. You probably can't see this. Let me see if I've got. You may not be able to see that. Look at that patch. That patch I've put on there, and you can't even see what it is. It's a stealth patch. If you want to know what it is, I may make that available for sale. I don't know, but it's a special patch for you if you're into wearing patches. I'm not really into wearing patches, but I needed to cover something up there, so I thought, oh, why not have that anyway? But some of my merchandise is on the website, on the Teespring account as well. So t-shirts galore, go check that out. Anyway, so clutch adjustment videos coming up. There'll be service videos coming up. I didn't want to make just general service videos because let's face it, there are lots of videos out there. You can find them even about the Sport Glide and the Softail region, Sport Glide bikes, I should say. There's lots of videos about that. And you know what? They're all quite reasonable. What I wanted to do with these kind of particular videos was to try and bring you new information, or information that you hadn't really thought about, or maybe is not in the owner's manual. I think that's the angle which I'm going to come at about bringing or making a new video about the mechanical aspect of the bike, is just to try and bring in new information as opposed to just repeating what maybe lots of other people have done before. You know, but if you want to check out some service videos right now on the Sport Glide in particular, or the Softails, because it's generic actually in that regard, check out D-Cycle channel. Also check out Tony Cox channel as well. You know, they do some, periodically they do some videos. So, you know, quite basic, quite self-explanatory, and they work quite well. So, and that's whichever Softail you got. Actually, you can apply a lot of the same principles to all Harley Davidsons, certainly on the M8 engines as well. Right, okay, let me just have a look here. So that's it, yeah, so lots of questions coming in, so keep those coming in, that's really appreciated. As I said before, any questions that come in, sometimes I'll answer in a live stream right now, or actually they are the kind of inspiration for another video, and that's it. And sometimes you think, well, I've made a video about a certain topic in the past, but then people will ask specific questions in the comments, or will send me an email. More often than not, it's an email, which is really good, about wanting to know a little bit extra. So actually that is then the impetus for another type of video, but an extension of what I've done before. So that's really good. So I say, if you want to have any more information about that, let me know. Okay, or just leave it in the comments below as well, and I'll get back to you as well. Okay, so there's one other thing here. Right, so I did a video the other day about modifications versus bike value. And whether modifying your bike is really a wise thing to do, I suppose, in financial terms. Look, we all know that we're going to, whether we modify or not our bikes, actually, it's something that you would do for yourself, as it were. The only thing I would ever say about that is if you're not sure about whether you're going to keep your bike, whatever bike it is, a Harley Davidson, I would not go too crazy on the modifications, because down the line you're going to lose that money. Wait until you've got a bike that you really think you're going to want to keep, and then make the modifications. Beware that I checked with the Harley dealership today, and it's definitely the case. The more modifications that you have, the less residual value that those extras have on the bike. That's not to say that your bike is devalued beyond what a stock bike would be valued at, but it's more the case that you really won't get much of your money back on all those extras that you've paid for. However, up to a certain point, it may make your bike more desirable. So I always link it to two things. If I'm looking for a used bike, any bike, but let's say a Harley Davidson, I'm either going to go one of two ways. I'm going to go completely stock, where it hasn't been molested in any way whatsoever, so I know that's a complete stock bike which I can build upon. Or I'm going to look for a bike that is already modified in the way in which I would modify a stock bike. So basically I would save my money there. It's one of those two things. But if you go beyond a stage one, even if you go beyond a stage one, looking at a stage two, right? Stage two is probably the absolute limit, but a stage one, if you go beyond that, you're actually going to start affecting the resale value and the resaleability of that bike. There is no doubt, apparently, that is the thing. Possibly stage two, maybe not, but certainly stage three and stage four, because also it lends the perception of what kind of rider you may be, but also what kind of riding that bike has been subjected to as well. You know, some hard riding, which is fine, but people's perceptions will be, well, if that bike's been ridden hard, it's not going to be reliable, and also it calls into question the reliability of that bike as well. I bring this into the live stream because I've had quite a few messages and comments as well about not necessarily Softails, but Harley Davidsons on the M8 engine in general, and especially on the Taurus, they're saying that actually stage 3, stage 4 upgrades have in the past, and still to a certain degree have caused reliability issues. Now, obviously, this always comes down to how the bike is ridden. So you can't say take its carte blanche and say, right, all stage 3, stage 4 upgrades and whatever on a Tourer, on a Harley Davidson Tourer motorcycle is going to be make it unreliable. No, but obviously there were those early issues with the oil pump. That's all been resolved, so you don't have to worry about that. But there have been issues in the past. Softail, to a certain degree, exactly the same. There have been a few, and I always talk about this in terms of isolated. There are isolated issues to think about as well. Right, but anyway, right, and just I've got a little list of things here as well. So right, so yeah, there are. So I just wanted to check to bring that to you from Harley Davidson dealership. Just if you're going to do modifications, go for it, I'd say, but do the modifications for yourself. But just bear this in mind that you may not get your money back. So you may want to look at used parts and things like that. People will always want to modify their bike, and maybe always modify. They'll have one set of modification, then want to change it to something else. If you get in with a Harley group or a Hog group or something like that or whatever, you know, you start to put the feelers out and you start to know what people have got on their bikes. And if you hear of somebody who's going to change up their bike parts for whatever reason, then you might be able to get those parts on your bike for a cheap price, and they're still really good value. Right, so the other thing is about Harley Davidson heritage and history. Interestingly, today I went to say one of the Harley dealerships, and at the back they got the mock-up of the old Harley shed where they first started. You know, Bigfoot and the Hendersons, I like to call it, or Harley and the Davidsons, I should say. But anyway, so you know, it's a nice thing, but I just wonder how many people are really into the heritage of the bike, especially going forward in generations, or whether people just want a good bike with good technology and good reliability now. They don't really care about history and lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, you know. But anyway, so that'll possibly feature in a few videos in the new year as well. I'm going to sort of be discussing that. Anyway, metal in both legs. Right, I used to take a back protector, naff bit of foam out of my jacket and put a hot water bottle in it and get good for a couple of hours. Do you know what? That's probably not a bad idea, actually, especially in this cold weather. Yeah, the foam inserts on those back protectors on bike jackets are a bit... It's just to have something in there, isn't it? They're not actually going to do anything. You really need some kind of hard... Nox armor type thing if you really want to do something, like, you know, have something there. Yeah, but a hot water bottle, that's good. Yeah, or if you're riding in hot temperatures, you know, just a cool like a camel pack type thing. I wonder if that would work. I think you could actually put a camel pack in there. I think something like that might work. Right, right. So the other thing is so that's it. So source of information we've gone through. Sport Glide, Softail questions, still getting lots of those. Modifications, yeah, gone through that. Harley Davidson history and heritage, yeah, lots of. I think for me, there's lots of information that comes out. Lots of people who talk about the history, talk about that, but you know, do people really care about it? I don't know. It's a debate that I think some people like to have. I don't know. I'm not so sure. You know, I find all history interesting. I find all stories of how anything has evolved into what it is now. I always find that journey interesting. But I'm not sure if anybody else does. You know, maybe I'm just alone. I don't know. But anyway, I get occasional emails also about whether I want to talk about motorcycle lifestyle stuff or Harley Davidson lifestyle stuff, and I do, but I'm not sure. I mean, I do. I find it really interesting. I mean, I had a motorcycle magazine for a while where I kind of really talked and promoted lifestyles, the arts, and all that kind of stuff. There is something that I want to get back into and start showcasing really on the channel. So not only about bikes, but about the artistry and creativity within the biking world, certainly around Harleys, certainly around the sport line, but expand it out a little bit. There is going to be a bit more expansion on the channel, and I put out a little post the other day to say what people would really like me to continue with. I think the consensus opinion is everybody wants me to continue with the Harley themed content, and I enjoy doing it, so that's why I'm here. That's what I'm trying to bring you guys lots of this content as well. I'm still going to be focused on the Sport Glide and Softails, but I am going to expand that out into other Harley models as well. The Tourer range, and also some older bikes as well. And I'm going to start looking at different bikes, comparing other manufacturers' bikes to Harleys as well. So there'll still be the connection there, but a little bit different. So just to broaden it out a little bit. Just for information, I will be going to motorcycle show, the London Motorcycle Show in February. And I'll be going there on the, I can't remember now. It's the Friday, the first day I'll be going there. So if anybody's there, I'll check you out there. I'll be doing another review walk around there. Possibly won't be doing it like quite a few people have made comments about they didn't really want to see me. They wanted to see more of the bikes and maybe just have a running commentary of the bikes. I might just change the style up and see how that works out anyway. But I'll be trying to get a lot more bikes on the video as well for that. But some of the questions that I get about talking about other things, about lifestyle things, is about motorcycle clubs and motorcycle rallies and things like that. And I've did a podcast before, because I think a lot of people have watched the podcast or heard about the podcast when I talked about motorcycle clubs, or why would you want to get into a motorcycle club. And it's I always say, when I've written about clubs in the past, or club life, or club culture, or films that have been made about that kind of thing when I was in the magazine, I think I look at it from an interested observer from the outside looking in, but it's not something that's ever interested me. It's not something that motorcycle club life, that is, not something that's ever interested me. It's nothing that's ever really been part of my motorcycle world, my lifestyle, if you like. I know people are in clubs. I know lots of clubs. But it's not something that I would necessarily make content about. Only if it coincides with something else that I'm talking about, that I would certainly expand upon that. Maybe if a load of whatever, a certain club started riding a load of sport glides or something like that, then I might go, oh, that make an interesting story, and if anybody wanted to interview. But apart from that, no, I say it's not. There are lots of good channels out there who talk specifically about motorcycle club life. So if you want to know about motorcycle club life, then go to those channels that actually know it. I have my views on motorcycle club life, or motorcycle club culture, let's say. I have my views on whether it would suit me or my lifestyle. I think whilst I have there's nothing wrong with motorcycle clubs or being in a motorcycle club at all. I just think there's too much politics, too many restrictions within that lifestyle for me. I much prefer to just come and go as I please, go anywhere, speak to anybody, and say anything I want about whatever subject I want. And that's, I'm not really a group person. I belong to certain groups, whatever, and I associate with certain groups, but I wouldn't say that I am restricted to those groups. I can just, be whatever I want to be. Anyway, so that's why I don't really cover that motorcycle club type content on the channel, whilst I have touched upon it in the past, it's not really going to be the basis of my channel per se. Anyway, so hopefully that answers that question there as well. Right, anyway, so if there are any other questions, so I really just wanted to do this live stream to check the stream, which is good. I think I've cracked it with this cable, this Ethernet cable, so that's great. Yeah, I've just changed the lighting out a little bit, maybe in the future, and sort out the camera a little bit. But for now, I think it's working great. So if you've got any other questions, you know, please leave them in the comments below afterwards. And cheers for everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate that. And hopefully you got a little bit of extra information there as well about the bikes and everything. There are lots more videos coming, lots more daily videos, say coming up until the 1st of January. And then I've actually made a whole batch of videos now for the whole of January now, but 3 a week, minimum of 3 a week. And I'm gonna look at whether I continue daily or I'm just going to continue with 3 a week. I probably will go back to daily, but I just wanted to make sure again that you're guaranteed of content coming out to you, and that's really important to me. So you know, you guys you know, still have lots of information. Any information that I get, I want to pass to you. Any information that I feel is appropriate, I'll pass to you guys as well. You know, all I can say is, you know, if you like the channel, that's great. Keep on watching it. Tell your friends, any of the Harley riders, spread the word. You know that the channel is growing, and all support that I can get, that's going to be great as well. And if you are a Harley rider, just I think I said it in the last stream as well, but this coming week, I believe, and maybe next week, there is the Hog magazine, the digital Hog magazine that gets emailed to everybody. It's featuring my endurance ride around the Great Britain on the Harley Sport Glide as well. So it's going to be featured in there as well. And I think next weekend, next Sunday, Channel 4, or not Channel 4, More 4 channel, I'm going to be on a TV program there, and that's going to feature my bike as well, which is really cool. Right, that's it. I'm out of here. Got to go and watch the football. Cheers all. Thanks a lot.